are you doing? Oh, I've been waiting to do this one, and I think I've also been kind of nervous about it, to be honest. I have been reluctant to do a live. Just noticed it in myself over the past week or two, I guess. Just being in my own process and watching myself kind of work through the different layers of what's been coming up, and wanted to finally share a little bit of what I came to. A big catalyst being the core workshop that I just did. And if you don't know what core is, it's called Core Experience, and it's a program that I've been doing for years, and it is by far the most powerful transformational work I've ever done. And I've worked with healers all over the world, coaches all over the world, therapists and psychotherapists. I've run the gamut of ways to grow into myself and better myself and understand. And this work with Core brings all of those pieces together and just like explodes you into transformation, mind, body, and soul. And so I just did their last workshop, Kings and Queens, which you have to go through all the others in order to do. And it was perfection. But a lot of it was around working with our core wound, which I have been working with a lot over the past couple of weeks and have talked about in other lives. But it's that part of us when we were really, really little that learned something, that felt hurt by something, and then that hurt then created all of these strategies to make sure that we protected ourselves. And it ripples out in all sorts of ways, like our wounds unanswered and untended to kind of melt all over the people in our lives. Not intentionally, never intentionally. Well, sometimes some people do it intentionally, but most of the time it's not intentional. Most of the time it's totally subconscious. The ways in which our wounds hurt the people in our lives. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I show up to this work. So that, one, I feel embodied and powerful and whole so that I can do the work that I want to do in this world, but also so that my wounds don't melt all over the people that I love. So my core wound that my beautiful little baby girl holds, that I've known for a while and have worked with a ton, is that I'm not seen. And when I go into that place, when I really am with her, it's like this vortex. It's a vortex of shadow and darkness where nobody can reach me. And it's the most alone I ever feel. And I don't go there really hardly ever anymore, because I also have a different relationship with it. But what I realized in this workshop was that I've been so grounded in my brain and, figuring it out and processing through my thought that I was forgetting about the hurt. I was forgetting about the wound that was there still asking for attention, and the little girl who is still asking for attention. And I got to go there this weekend, supported by an amazing tribe of humans, and really see the ways in which my wound was affecting other people. So feeling like I'm not seen, and then creating it as this really strong, I've got me, I'll always show up for me, I see me, but you don't see me, so I'm not gonna let you all the way in. That little bit of dissonance that I keep, just a tiny bit, so that people can't fully be with me, so that I know that I'm safe. But that's just one of the ways. I also sometimes create it, from this place, from this hurt, wounded place of I don't feel seen. I create this tool that says, well, you don't see me, so you're not good enough for me. And I do that in a relationship, and it sucks. It makes the other person feel terrible. And we all have these things. We all have these things that come from our wounds. And unanswered, untended to, unlooked at, they create disconnect. They create hurt in our relationships, and that's not what we actually want, right? That's not what we want. So what do we have to do? We have to own them. We have to own the wound, even if it wasn't your fault. This was said a bunch last weekend, but was also a quote that I found on Instagram 2 weeks ago. Your wounds might not be your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. So that wound, that hurt, that beautiful little inner child, that small you that still holds the pain, that then creates the ways in which it hurts other people, that's not your fault. Probably not your fault. But it is your responsibility to be with that wound, to look at it, to see it, to feel it sometimes, even when you don't want to, because babe, I get it. I was there. I am there a lot. It's human nature not to want to feel pain. So going into the wound feels really scary, because I don't know about you, but it feels like it will swallow me if I actually really touch it. But this weekend, I got to go there. I could literally feel it encroaching in on me, and it was kind of like an anxiety attack, but I don't usually have those, where you feel like you don't have control over it. And I could feel it encroaching, but I could also feel my healthy self being like, oh, there's that feeling, that vortex that I can get sucked into, and I know the depths of that. I know how it feels to feel totally alone in that. And I've got me, and these people around me have got me. And it was such an amazing experience to be with the depth of the wound and know that it won't swallow me. And in that, it gave me the opportunity to then take that poor little hurt part that feels so lonely and so unseen, and to bring her in. And I did, and I held her, and I cried, and I didn't cry, I bawled. I bawled as I held that part of me that was just so hurt, and let her know it's okay. And that's like the beauty of incorporating the wound, allowing it to be there, not feeling like we have to cut it out or release it or let it go or get rid of this piece that we make wrong all the time. It's actually about saying, I see you, all of you, the hurt parts, the angry parts, the parts that create hurt, the parts that then hurt other people. And taking all of those parts and saying, I've got you, I love you, it's okay. I let you be all of me, so that we don't have these fragmented pieces of who we think we are that feel disconnected, and then we feel just more separate and alone, even inside our own selves. And that beautiful gift of time and love and tenderness and space to say, wow, I'm all of it. I'm all of it, and I always will be. The goal isn't to fix yourself of your wound. It's just to be in different relationship with it, so that it doesn't melt all over the people in your life, so that it doesn't block you from connection, so that it doesn't, self-sabotage, which it does a lot. But to say, hi, I see you. It's okay. And you have a place in me. It's a very different conversation than the one that we usually have, which is like, okay, get rid of it. Oh, I healed that. I fixed that. It's gone. You might be in a different relationship with it. I'm constantly in different relationship with these pieces of myself all the time. And even I, notice that going into these things, I still have this shame in showing up with the same things that I feel powerless to, which is it's just a perception that I'm powerless to it. It's really the judgment that there's something wrong with the fact that it exists in me still. But yeah, of course, it's a part of who you are. That pain, that hurt, that part of you that feels not seen or not understood or rejected or not enough or not lovable or not worthy. All of these wounds that we carry, whatever that may be for you, and there may be multiple, but usually there's one really deep one that kind of ripples out into the others. And whatever that is, you don't have to get rid of it. It's a part of who you are, and it's just this hurt that really just wants to be loved. So, I come to you tonight humbled, really humbled by my own little girl, by my own wounds that I wasn't really fully willing to feel after doing all this work, and also really compassionate for the pain that you hold, and compassionate for that little child, and also calling you forward. This is a calling. I'm doing this very intentionally. I'm calling you forward into that piece of you so that it becomes a part of who you are and doesn't feel rejected by you. So that you can be whole and powerful, that your power isn't despite of or when you get rid of that wound, that your power is when you actually bring it into you and love it enough to let it know it has a place in you, because it already lives in you anyway. So why reject it? Why give it more cause to feel more pain, to be even stronger within you? This is a calling, a very intentional calling to embrace the wound, because the beauty is, and this was one of the best gifts of this weekend, the beauty is that all of the gifts that you already have right now, a lot of them were born from that wound. Because you had that hurt, your gifts got to sprout like a lotus blooming from the mud. Like the gift that I have of being able to truly see people and see bigger cosmic levels of stuff. Like I always say I see more than most people, but I never realized that gift was actually born from my wound of not feeling seen. How beautiful is that? It's not despite the wound that we become strong. It's not the lessons that it is, but it's not just the lessons that we learn from the wound that's the gift. It's actually that the wound creates our gifts. Whoa. And that, and this was something else that was shared this weekend, that like all the greatest leaders in history, all the most heartfelt, powerful, game-changing leaders became that way because they had a wound. Their gifts were born from their wounds, just like us. And we can choose. We can either choose for the gift to be born from the wound and to be powerful in it, or for us to be the victim in it. That's our choice. That's the choice, the big choice that decides where we go with the wound. If it turns us into our gift, or if it turns us into the victim. And that's, again, why I'm here calling you forward. Because I want to see your gifts. The world friggin' needs your gifts. Seriously, the people in your life need your gifts. They also need you to look at your wounds so that you don't melt it all over them. And you need that for your relationships too. I just had an amazing session with a client, per usual. My coaching clients are so totally just as much a gift to me as I am to them. And the way that we co-create this unraveling of greater truth is like watching pure magic and feeling pure magic. That's why I love what I do so much. So I hope you guys have a great night. And I know that being with and seeing and feeling your wounds is scary. I know. But your gifts are waiting for you. And the people in your life and all the people who are meant to benefit from your gifts are waiting for you. It's time. It's been time. Okay. I'm sending you so much love and lots of power. Mwah!